Hey, and welcome back to RaceViews. Today we're going to discuss how to not get dropped. And we're going to go over that by watching me get dropped. So this was the crit from the Project Echelon Omnium. And it was a actually pretty tricky course. So you could see we just went through a 180 right there. And the pavement on this course was just god awful. You can see like my GoPro bouncing with all those little black lines. They were like mini potholes that you couldn't avoid. So it was just, it just sucked the power out of your legs and it was just terrible. Not to mention there's this downhill into a right-hander and it's greater than 90 degrees. So you really had to, you were going from 30 to, 23 here. And that was, cooking through that turn, 20, 19, 18, 15. Wow. So yeah, you could see we were just, you had to apply a lot of braking. So you couldn't really hold your momentum through that turn. And then you had to sprint through that section and then up this hill. So it was a tricky course. It was hot, and yeah, that just all led to me not having the best day on the bike. So hopefully you guys will be able to learn from me and, this won't happen to you. So getting dropped mainly comes down to three things. You have your fitness levels, you have your skills, and you have other riders. So fitness is obvious. It's how much power you can hold for a given amount of time. And if the race is higher than that, then you're probably going to get dropped. Skills, I'm talking about cornering, descending, how effectively you can draft other riders. And from there, that's going to save you energy. And maybe you can have a little bit less of fitness and not get dropped because of your skills. And then other riders, I want to put this in as, they may not have the fitness or the skills to hang on, and you may be stuck behind them. So then you now have to make the effort to get back up to the main group. So you can see I had four guys, just got a small gap, and, I was just not, my skills were not the best on this day. I don't know what it was, but this turn specifically, I just could not take it at speed. And, that's causing me to make an extra huge effort to try to get back on. And this was really my first mistake, second lap. I had to make that huge effort and then another huge effort to get up this hill. And, after a while, that takes a toll on your legs and it's not gonna, no matter how fit you are, if you don't have the skills, you're most likely going to get dropped. So again, out of that corner, just letting a little bit of a gap go, and I have to put in an extra huge effort. My power was kind of off in this race. I had to calibrate my power meter halfway through by pedaling backwards. So sometimes it's really low and sometimes it's really high. Like out of the 180, I was hitting, it said 1600 watts at one point, which would be an all-time record. So, it's slightly off, but no excuses there. So here's another issue of other riders. So that guy in the black, he just pulled off because he doesn't want to do the work to pull this, little gap back. So the next one in line is me. So I have to, go hard up that hill, and then this guy just comes past me to get back on that guy's wheel. So again, just another effort that I had to make to close the gap down. And, that rider, he, pulled off and did the smart thing, took a risk. So he didn't have to make the effort because maybe he didn't have the fitness. But you can see here, I now allow him he comes in on the inside of me and I have to open up a little bit of a gap. And because I didn't get to take that line as perfectly as I wanted to. And now there's a gap opening up, and he basically got a free ride. So you want to make sure other riders, and I almost crashed myself out right here on the curb trying to take a little bit of a risk, but other riders are another big part of how your race goes. You have to make sure you are in the right position, but if you're not, those other riders that are getting dropped or not pulling through or whatever, they're in the way, and you're going to have to close that gap. So you can see this, I opened up that gap, and that guy behind me had to jump to get to this group. And, that wasn't his fault. It was just, he was behind the wrong wheel. So I guess it kind of is his fault because he was on behind the wrong wheel. But what I'm saying is you have to, choose where you're going to be effectively. So again, I'm falling off the pace a little bit. I'm dying right now. And I'm hoping I can close this gap down with just a little bit of a late brake on this going into this right-hand turn. And, luckily I'm able to. I closed pretty much the whole gap just by going, late braking there, and not, those guys in front of me had to brake because they're on the guy's wheel. And then here is where it really goes wrong. So I just had to make that effort to catch the group. And now these guys, you can see that guy on the left there blowing up. And then there's, a gap opening up in front of this red guy. And, I'm just holding the guy's wheel in front of me, but the other riders are getting dropped. So now I either A, I'm going to get dropped, or B, I have to close the gap because no one else is going to do it. So, at this point, I wouldn't say it's that guy's fault. I was dying 1,000 deaths. So, it was partially my fitness levels, my skill levels, and other riders that all culminated together to make me get dropped in this race. So, if you could learn one thing from this is on technical courses like this, you really want to make sure you're in the front, because you can just, you can almost not have to brake through the turns, and the guys in the back have to brake and then make an extra effort to try to, catch back on. So if you're in the front, you don't have to put in as much work, so you can have a little bit less of fitness levels. And again, skills are always crucial, and that just comes with time. You just gotta, practice, do more crits, practice your cornering, and that's gonna save you watts when you get to the race. But there's always someone that's gonna be better than you, so you gotta have fitness as well. And my fitness was just not on point today. The day before was pretty hard. You had a circuit race and a TT. And I'm just making a bunch of excuses now. But what I'm trying to say is, you got to be smart and have a plan before the race. So one thing I should have done is realize this course was a little technical beforehand. I did one lap, and, it doesn't really work out when you do one lap at, easy pace. You got to make sure when you do it at speed, it's a lot different how the corners play out and stuff. So do your research, do your workouts so you gain your fitness, and practice your skills. And last but not least, stay in the front so you're not behind dropped riders. So at this point, me and this guy are just switching poles. We're only 6 laps into a 29 lap race, and this was probably 30 minutes or so out of a 75-minute crit. So definitely not my best race ever. But it is what it is. Hopefully you guys can learn something out of this. And I know I have, just analyzing this video afterwards, and it's gonna go better for my next race. So thanks for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know in the comments what you learned, And if you have any other tips, let me know down below. Thanks, and see ya in the next video.